music. That was Chanson Triste by Tchaikovsky, or at least the first part of it, and welcome to Croeso I BHH Live 141, or more BHH Live Rerun 27, which is what a lot of the show will contain, but yes, this is the 141st Britain's Hidden History live show, and of course, as you can see, I am presenting today, which is a bit of a big surprise. There is no Paul here, sadly, but yes, you've got me instead. And first up, I am here to read the news and recent announcements, starting with, we have, of course, and one second, I think this may or may not be the incorrect slide. We should have a quick look. Here we go. Yep, very sorry all, but this is just taking a second. Here we go. So, first of all, we have here, of course, a very big thing. A lot of you have probably already heard about this if you are watching the show, but the Unveiling Britain's Hidden History live event will be soon, on the 9th of September this year. So, if you don't know about this event already, what it is a, partly a tribute to Ross Broadstock, of course, the founder of this whole thing, of this whole channel that you're even watching me on now, and, of course, also partly a conference, for we will have speakers, there'll be a buffet, there'll be some drinks at the bar as well, and it is all being organised by Daniel and Glamorganug, which have also given us a lovely little video, a promotional video, to show you in a second. Firstly, I will just show you here. You have the link at the bottom of the screen, if you can see that on the stream. This is where you can actually book tickets for this event, which, of course, Danielle will go into much deeper detail than I will. But here, of course, yeah, you can book your tickets here. Just click the button. It will be a blast, I can promise you. You will enjoy it a lot. Now, speaking of promotional video, here it is now. So, allow me to just...
Hi everyone, I'm Danielle, one of the founders of Glamorganug Indigenous People. In September, we are very honoured to be hosting an event for our dear friend, the late and great Ross Broadstock, and I really hope you can join us. When we began our Indigenous People mission, Ross came to several of our meetings and events, and he also did a talk for our community. By the way, there's a really typical Ross backstory about that, which I won't share with you now. I'll leave that till the event and share it with you then. So when we asked Ross to do another talk, he asked us to meet him to discuss it, as he had loads of ideas. When he shared all his ideas with us, what was going to be a 2-hour talk of an evening for a group of maybe 20 or 30 people began morphing into this huge gathering, encompassing his dream of uniting everyone in the Britain's Hidden History group, an event with music, social connection and entertainment, as well as sharing information and research.
Oh, bit of buffering here.
We had to keep reminding him that this would really not fit into a 2-hour evening workshop, so I suggested to him, why don't we organise something separately to a workshop, maybe on a weekend, so it gives people who are living away more chance that they can travel down. And this thought made Ross's eyes light up. Sadly, Ross never got to return to do another talk for our community or begin the arrangements for his dream event, as this meeting was held just a few days before he passed away. This is one of the reasons we feel so passionate about continuing these plans in Ross's honour. So we're now working with Angie to manifest Ross's vision into reality as a heartfelt tribute to a dear friend who we miss so much, as a celebration and gratitude for his passion for life, his dedication to his work and the important work that he was doing, his legacy of the Britain's Hidden History group, and the imprint his presence has left upon all of our hearts. The ticket price is set at the lowest possible price that we can manage, and Angie is also very keen to make this event a success, so has kindly offered to provide hot drinks from the bar for everyone who attends. So please really do your best to attend and help us make Ross's dream come true. The star of the show may not be there in body, but I know he'll be there in spirit. Hope to see you in September. Thanks for watching.
And there you are, a very heartfelt video there, showing you and telling you about this event. And as I've said before, I do recommend you go. It's going to be a blast. There's going to be a few good speakers there, and then of course, yeah, the buffet. It's a bar. It is a nice location. I'm fairly certain, at least, a nice location. Also, there is good news, which is, if this PowerPoint... Well, there we go. There are now on the website digital copies of these 4 books here. The ones... I don't know if actually... There we go. You can see me now, if you couldn't already. But there are now digital copies of these 4 books on the website, if maybe you wouldn't like to buy one of the hard copy ones, because they are very big and unwieldy books. The digital copies are now available on cymriglyphics.com, the website, the shop, and it is these 4, so Arthur the War King, the Charters of the Kings, Glamorgan and Gwent, and, of course, Artorius Rex Discovered, all of them written by Wilson and Blackett, and pretty good books, being completely honest, quite interesting. Of course, if you're watching this channel, then you're likely quite interested in the subject that we talk about on here and that these books talk about, so I do recommend you check them out. And following with more good news, Watkins Books. So this is a very old bookshop in London. This is around, as you can see, 130 years old, and it is now stocking Britain's Hidden History and Cymriglyphics books there. They have now begun to stock these books in this shop. It's in London. Exactly where in London, I cannot remember, but you can probably look it up. It's quite a big and famous bookstore, and I think they've got a lovely display there as well, you know, showing these books. And as well as this, there is another old and prestigious bookshop showing them, which is Atlantis Bookshop, which just turned 100 last year, actually. So another quite old bookshop there, which is now has Britain's Hidden History's books, Wilson and Blackett's books, Ross Broadstock's books, all of them. Museum Street, London, as you can see. And it is, there's the postcode. So yes, established by Michael Haughton in 1922, it is currently owned and run by Barley Beskin and her mother Geraldine. And if you would like to check this bookshop out, they, as I've said before, they also have these same books. And now that concludes this week's news, of which there has been quite a lot, honestly, that I've gone through pretty quickly. It's been quite eventful, quite recently, and now we shall show the full premise and focus of this live stream, which shall be the rerun of Britain's Hidden History Live 27, hopefully without too much buffering or anything like that, because that was a problem. I do apologise for the buffering in the Danielle's video earlier. Hopefully that shall not be a problem again. Right, let's get this. go. Enjoy.
All. I hope you can hear me nice and loud and clear. Yep, good. Getting the thumbs up there. I hope I look better on your screen than I do on mine. Yeesh, it's all grainy and hot. Oh, it looks lovely on Arnie's. I think it's the way they process the video. Thank goodness. And it's not me looking that terrible. Right, we've got so much today. Main focus, as you saw on the caption card, you might have done, if you saw it. Okay, Baron, thank you very much. Thank you for all those who have ordered this music, which is now available, as you know, from Britain's Hidden History store. So quite a few, still got quite a few left though. So, you know, perfect stocking fillers. Buy them for all your friends. One thing we noticed on things like the videos and the maps and stuff is that the postage is quite expensive, and we can't change that on the system. So what we've done instead is actually lower the price of the CDs and maps and things like that. And what's really happened is we've just taken some off this is just the way the postage works in the software. Okay, it insists we charging us £2.80 or something, even if it only costs £1. And if you change it on one, you change it on everything. Anyway, that's just the wonders of e-trading. Right, let's see all the sound only coming through. Yeah, that's all you had. Hopefully you can see me okay. Are you okay on? Seems so frozen there. No? Good. Hello Mark, hello Craig. We get a bit of buffering, are we? Begin to hear that song in my sleep, says Patricia. Oh, your internet connection's not so good. Okay. Hello, Finky Stingers. Oh, hello, Angie's just brought a cup of tea out. Thank you very much. Buffering a lot. Oh no. Well, I don't think much I can do about that, really. I think it must be your internet. Can people say if they're buffering as well? You got some lagging going on with the video, but sound is right. Where's the settings? I don't think I can change the settings anymore, can I? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, settings. Here we go. Just quickly. That all seems good. Output, all things seems good. I don't know why it's buffering. I don't know why.
5 3/4 seconds.
It's only 5 seconds lag. Okay, well let's hope it doesn't buff too much. Well, the sound is steady. Well, that's the main thing, isn't it? That's the main thing. Alright, I don't know where to start. I got such a long list of stuff here. It's going to be cracking. God, where shall we start? Alright, I want to mention, first of all, with Rob, another Rob, we got so many Robs and Roberts in our group. It's amazing. There was an evening a few weeks ago, I had 4 phone calls I received from good friends of mine. All 4 were from someone called Robert. Alright, so you have to get used to different names. So we got Robert Bevans, who's the one who's dragging me up on mountain tops to see sunrises and the star maps and all that kind of thing. And I still haven't put up, apart from a brief overview, the fabulous video we took, which was on the autumn equinox. And I want to mention that now. It's not about stars tonight, not particularly, not the Babylonian stuff, but it does need to come up in the next couple of weeks because we're not far away now from what I always consider to be, and I think the ancients consider to be, the most important part of the year, which is round about December 21st, 22nd, when the sun is at its lowest point in the sky, northern hemisphere of course, and this is when the sun appears to die for 3 days and then get reborn. Sounds a lot like Christmas maybe. But anyways, a lot more about this kind of stuff. There's another book which I'm going to edit and put together, and we are catching up on the books. More news on that in a second. So this is the most important time of the year. If you look at ancient Babylonians, Chaldeans, British, most cultures around the world really. It's when the sun has died and they want to come back to life. So we'll be up the mountains again, looking at that. So I really need to get that autumn equinox stuff up first. And sorry, some funny comments there. I don't know what's going on. Emergency jigsaw on standby in case buffering becomes a problem. Oh, thanks, Gavin. I can see me buffering. Can everyone just confirm you can hear it okay, though, yeah? Then we're just after, hello Monica from Germany, guten Abend. Ah, Rob Bevans, as in an Irish Bevan. Oh, we are. I think that's Zoe correcting me then. Rob Bevans. So anyway, we're going to be going up, doing hills, and I need to get those videos up in time. So I want to encourage everyone to really pay special attention, try and get to a good vantage point to see what happens in the winter solstice, the lowest point. Because most of the ancient alignments, as Rob's been working out, doing amazing work, are designed to hit this crucial point of the year, okay? And obviously, I'm not getting into any politics or anything, but this year particularly, timing does coincide with lots of what's going on with, elections and lockdowns and whatever, okay? Let's not get into all that. But just to say that it is a very significant part, and with the way the planets are aligning this year, and definitely going to talk about that more in the next couple of weeks. And the great news is, if you are getting up for dawn to watch, it'd probably be about 9 o'clock or something. I haven't looked it up yet, but it's not that early, okay? It's like the summer one where you've got to be up at 4 in the morning and then go to bed at 11 and get about 3 hours sleep. This one, Sunday, 3 hours sleep. This one, sunset. Rob's interested in the sunset as well, and that's, what time does the sun go down each time? 4 o'clock or something. So it's not really putting anyone out. So if you are interested at all in star maps and stuff, you've got about 3.5 weeks roughly to sort out where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing. About 4 weeks. All right, so that's really important. Oh, I've got one note on here. Oh, what's that, man?
It just finished.
Is this finished?
Well, for me it did.
Arnie's computer's
Oh,
gone.
now it's going back up.
Is everyone else okay?
Yeah, now it's back up for me.
Oh no, Arnie's just disappeared then. I hope
And Mummy said it's going badly for her as well.
Okay, alright. So, I hope it's... The live stream stopped.
Yeah, it happened to me too.
Flippin' heck, what happens every week?
It's back on for me though.
Well, it's back streaming again, so I don't know why we lost a bit then, people. I'm going to read some of the comments while people have a chance to re-log in. Because they're back live. I don't know what happened there. I just don't know what happened. It went dead and it carried on. From where I'm sitting, it all looks exactly the same. Alright, so David Mosley, guten Abend, Deutschland. There's Hugh, he's the real expert on this stuff. Hugh and Rob. And Steve, obviously. I'm just a novice trying to pick my way through it. I'm giving people a chance to log back in again. Because clearly we lost the sun there. The stream went down, and it went off. Came back a few seconds later. Alright, okay. Yeah, so Craig, just giving everyone a few seconds. People are back on. Chinna watching. And it's Finky approved, I hope. Alright, so what I was saying is I'm not sure what bits we lost. So if I'm doubling up, I apologise. It's very important because this is the winter solstice. The lowest point the sun will be in the sky. So the sort of thing you want to find a vantage point for, if you look at, I'd highly recommend looking up the works of Alexander Thom, T-H-O-M. I know it said Tom, but if you say Thom, you remember how to spell it. And a great program is Alexander Thom meets Magnus Magnusson, who used to be the guy who did Mastermind and stuff on British TV. He's an Icelandic guy. Has he gone? Awesome.
No.
Oh. Very clever, very intelligent, and it's a really good, and it's BBC, fair play, 1970s, intelligent programming, and I'll explain a lot of the work to you. You can find it on YouTube, it's free, okay? And that'll explain a lot, the sort of things you're looking for. Now, where we're going to be up in the Black Mountains, probably, is looking for things like a dip between two hills. And what will sometimes happen, as the sun moves behind this dip, it'll disappear, and then boom, on that cream in there. And there are some old hieroglyphs where you can see that exact symbol, the V with a circle in it, which I think might be significant beyond just its straight up meaning, alright? And I do want to say a little bit about hieroglyphics at the end, if we have time, alright? Just make a note of that. So yeah, make sure you know where you're going to be. December 21st, 22nd. Set could be just as important as sunrise. And we'll see how that goes. Oh, can I have the comments back on, please? Huh?
Yes, it's all gone like this. I have to.
Oh, Arnie's gone. Oh, you've scrolled down. You can see him down there. Look.
Yeah, but I can't see the stream.
Oh no, it's buffering every 10 seconds or so. I'm not sure what to do with that. Alright, Kerry's joined us. Hello. Right, okay, now then, right, so what I want to mention there, one of the other Roberts, I got completely sidetracked then, didn't I? Because the reason I mentioned Roberts is to support Robert in his work with the veterans who are suffering from PTSD. I did mention him on Remembrance Day. I want to mention him again. And the website is thewayofthewarriors.org, and I'll put that in the description. The Geordie accent, I promise, of Paul Hartel. I'll come back to that. Need a couple of drinks. No, I'm not going to do a Geordie accent right now. I feel embarrassed for some reason. I don't know why. I don't normally bother. It doesn't normally bother me. Right, next week, I'm going to do more. I want to thank Bob Morgan again for more about the Roman fort we found in Ireland, all right? Architecture power. Ta-da! He waits is almost over. Here is the proof copy. Hooray, hooray, in my hands, the book. I'm trying to get the light so you can see it a bit better. Anyway, this just looks beautiful. Loads of paintings, pictures, drawings and stuff, artwork. You can see, get an idea there. Anyway, it's come out, it looks beautiful. Everything's fantastic. Robert's show, it's just a bit dark. You can't see Robert's name too well. Funny enough, it looks better on the screen than it does in my hand. That's weird. So just going to lighten that up a bit. And for those who, I think everyone watching this is aware by now, it starts off by explaining some of the things about history which are just not correct that you think they are. Such as, there was actually a parliamentary inquiry into how the Great Fire of London started. Imagine that. And they showed it was arson and nothing to do with Fernier in Pudding Lane. And actually someone got hanged for it who no one believed did it. He was just some sort of attention seeker or someone with mental health problems, as we would say today. Even the judge said he didn't do it before they strung him up. Tough times, eh? And but the royal family were definitely implicated, and it really gets darker and darker. And then you've got Plague of London also seemed to be started on similar. Has it gone again?
No, it's just for me. It keeps doing this. I have to refresh.
I think Arnie's got a bad internet connection. Maybe my whole house has, and that's why I'm having problems. It could be your brothers on playing their games. No, everyone's off. Everyone's off. Right. Okay. Okay. So so we've got the story then, and the same. The fire, the plague could have been deliberate. Then you go on to things like the wars, the famine. It was a biblical type revenge. All stuff like that. Shakespeare, why he couldn't have written his books. But what the book really gets into, that's really setting the scene to the kind of mindset that was going on with these people at that time. Because Rob's very much an expert on how the mind works, learning. He deals with problem children, with ADHD, stuff like that. So it's a really interesting insight then of what was going on and how the City of London basically wrestled control from the Stuart monarchs and design London around that, and how you can still see things today. It really is amazing. That's why I wanted to publish it when I saw the draft of it and everything. So that is now for sale and on the Cymroglyphics website or Britain's Hidden History. I should have put a link up already. It will go up. And if you order it before the books arrive, which should be in the next 10 days, 2 weeks maximum, if you pre-order, you get £5 off, alright? Angie told me there's a code you have to put in. So I don't know what it is.
What, is it a code to get, like, discount?
To get the £5 off, yeah, there's a voucher. Oh. Angie's listening to this. So hopefully Angie's going running in a minute with a piece of paper. So we all swap chairs. I have to swap seats to do this. Oh, here we go. It's a very subtle code, alright? All you code breakers out there. It's all capitals. BHH, as in Britain's Hidden History. AOP, as in Architecture of Power, alright? So 6-letter code. See if you can hack your way in if you forget it, alright? Okay. I got this couple of thank yous, because Paul Hartel is helping me again. Just to let you know, last copies of the first edition. Well, they are sold out. We got 1 or 2 left. I've got Steve Pigeon, who's a wonderful, wonderful person. If you haven't seen his work, just look. You'll find him on YouTube all over the place. And his publishing company, Cifa.
You don't have to do that.
I think I know it now. BHHAOP, yeah? What's this?
New internet
The
cable.
technical support has come in with my internet
It's a
cable.
new internet cable.
Hi everyone.
Alright, hello everyone. The engineers are on the case.
This is now an unboxing video.
Unboxing.
Brand new internet cable.
Brand new internet cable. Do you see it with a shiny yellow thing on the
I
end?
hope it works now.
Well, I hope it works. We all hope it works.
I don't know.
Because normally I do a hard wire connection the last few weeks, but something happened to the cable. What happened to the cable?
Excuse me.
When you have 3 children, I'm pretty clumsy too. You don't ask what happened to the cable. Oh, hang on. Careful, Ange.
You just give up to ask, you know? You just give up, you just fix the problem and that's it. Don't ask what happened.
Don't ask. Oh, don't ask what happened.
Yeah.
Technical services. This is live repairs. I'm really worried, Ange. Isn't
And she's not like here, you know?
Ange, you only got lights?
Can
No,
I
not on me. Oh, there's daddy's phone
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Oh,
You were more chaos than usual. I will continue manfully on. All right. I want to mention Steve Pigeon because they're Cypher Publishing, sorry, in America. So second edition will be available in North America as well. So you won't have to import it all the way from the UK. And I'm sure they can do a lovely job. All right, everyone. No, just pull this down here. Pull this down. Pull that down there. You'll see the torch. There it is. Look. Okay. So I did something technical there. I knew where the torch was on my phone. Yeah, I'm good. And there's going to be a second edition, okay? And I was hoping to talk about it this week, maybe at the end if I got time, although I don't think I'm going to have time, so we'll...
just don't touch it?
Don't touch it. I'm trying to touch anything. I'm terrified.
No, can you please check? Please check.
Check
the,
what?
Internet signal thing says what? Yeah.
That one?
This, no, go back. This like TV?
That one?
Yes, this one. Can you check please? Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, can you...
So now everyone knows. If there was any doubt, everyone knows who the brains of the outfit is, alright? Could have done it earlier, mind. I didn't say that. Right, I always want to mention there the hieroglyphics quickly. Right, everyone's going with Arthur. Come on, Ross, crack on. All these interruptions. This is available now. It's going to be beautiful, alright? There are a few things. We have got a big thank you to Mariah Carnegie, who's doing proofreading, and it's good job. She is doing a brilliant job. She's a professional. Like, did you know, a little bit of history for you, immediately on the front cover, there are 4 errors on the front cover, okay? So the front cover will look slightly different to this. So I'm going to show that. Little quiz for you. You go to the presentation, you'll see there. Alright, get that in your mind. This is how we develop our brains, okay? By trying to remember things and visualize. And then we're going to come on to the other one. And I'm going to show you how it looks now. Excuse me. I can't believe you just did that. Alright. Ah, yes, that works. Brilliant. So can you see the 4 changes from the previous one, eh? Yeah, a little bit of a clue. Alright. I might leave that open till the end and see if you can spot the 4 things. I'll give you one clue. The tail on this one is miles too big. That has been reduced for the final print. But it's not the tail you saw on the first one. And I didn't realise exactly what's involved in a unicorn. So there we go. So you can spot the other 3 things. You too can be a proofreader. But I'll take a couple of days. Mostly it's just little typos and things. The rest of the book's pretty good. And you'll see the new eye I put in there, which looks a bit more dramatic. Okay, so... right, we're going to go on the presentation. I think I've jumped in. Right, okay, so it's just a quick one. I've got to speed up Ross. Arnie, any more? How are we doing now? Is it coming through okay?
yeah, it's coming through okay.
Brilliant, brilliant. It's now coming through. Oh, better now. There we are. I should have plugged it in before. Right, I just want to mention Julian Petkov. I don't know any Bulgarian. I'd love to say hello in Bulgarian. Someone could put that in the comments. Maybe Julian's watching. he watched one of the previous videos, which was in August. It's the one with the fancy picture of the Georges, the Hanoverian kings, how British history was hidden or something like that, something creative. And he's just watched that and sent a message this week saying that how similar Bulgarian seems to be to Welsh, which is interesting, you see, because that fits in with the migration routes, you know, from the Eastern Mediterranean and Anatolia. And he's saying they have a word called beo, very similar to boyo, which is a Welsh, very, very happy Welsh word. In Bulgaria, yes. Almost woke Arnie up then. So the modern Bulgarian language is mostly Slavic, but it remains a lot of unique words not found in other Slavic languages. And he believes they are Thracian, possibly a similar or a shared root with Cymric, you know, with Cymraeg, Welsh. So it could be to do with a long disappeared Thracian. I noticed that lots of names, like we do in Welsh, if your name's Gary, you become Gario and Rossio, all that kind of thing, okay? And they do a similar thing in Bulgaria. So thank you for that. Do love comments coming in on the YouTube videos. Something I want to mention as well, all the videos are now going to go on BitChute as well. And there's another one, you BrainTube or something. It's just that a lot of channels are not being shut down on YouTube, so you don't want to control completely what happens on YouTube. So just to make sure, and I'll be putting up links to BitChute from now on as well, and the other one. And here's another one from the Facebook group, which came up just a little while ago, and it caught my eye, and it's such a beautiful picture. Does anyone out there please know what this one's called? What this standing stone is, right out in the middle of the Welsh hills. As you can see there, the valley by Penderyn towards Ystrafelt, which I think is up towards Hirwaun, that way. Anyway, you can see by the scenery, it's up towards the beacons. Sorry, it shouldn't be Slavic, it should be Slovenic. Harmonic is correcting someone there. And Patricia says, travelled. Yes, Patricia, thank you very much. Is the other person, a big help to all the work she's been doing. Not that's what her comment said. I just wasn't asking for help. She's saying like warm and hospitable it was in Bulgaria. And Finky Stingers is all in the phonetics with languages in my experience. Yeah, we could pass the knowledge verbally. Yeah, and I want to get onto the Cymraglyphics because writing the second edition, I've realised I made it a little bit too heavy and confusing in the start of Cymraglyphics the first time round. It is all there. I'm going to be doing the first chapter and making that first chapter available freely. So if you've already got first edition, you'll get the first chapter of the new one, which hopefully give you an easier way of getting what it's all about, and then the rest of the book will be easier to follow, okay? Alright, so if anyone knows what that stone is, please say some good chat. Brachan's daughter. Eh? Sorry, I missed too much of the conversation there, Alan, if you could explain a bit more about that. Oh, is the stone called Brachan's daughter, perhaps? Anyway, so we just saw that already. Oop. Right, now, finally, we get to the main theme. Hopefully, you've already seen this video during the week. If you are watching this video sometime in the future, which I always think is a little bit weird, not you weird, you watching it, but it's weird me sitting here talking now live, and then someone in years to come, you know, could be watching this, and all this could be old news and everything else. But during the week, Tim let me know he'd found this beautiful building. Let's go and have a look at it. And I only put the video up a few days ago, and already got some fantastic response. And in the video, but most notably from Legolas, Robert Pierce, I'm sure he's watching, and my cousin Neil Broadstock, another Broadstock on the scene, who's been doing some great research and has sent it through, as you're going to see now. This story has got a lot more to it than I realised, and it comes right up to modern times, and it gets a little bit stinky, as a lot of these things do. So if you haven't seen the video, this place is very near to Miskin Manor. So you come off the A4119. If you put Miskin Manor in, you'll find it on your Google Earth search, whatever things you're going to use. Just off the M4. Totally ignored, okay? Tim has been trying to do research, speaking to local historical societies, local churches, things like that. Getting a really weird reaction. Getting a kind of, well, it's definitely not this, and it's definitely not that. And of course, as soon as someone says it's not this, quite often that's where, well, why did they mention it then? You know, if someone said, you know, where do you live, Ross? Well, I certainly don't live in a monastery. You'd think, well, why do you say that for? You just say I live in a house. Anyway, similar with this one. I don't know. Anyway, you'll be able to see more about it. We're also going to be doing, particularly looking at this book here, Arthurius Rex Discovered, the Wilson and Blackett work, which is going to concentrate on. But what is also fantastic is the fact that... hang on. There we go. Sorry, that's the trouble with changing seats. Can't find everything. Is that like my cousin Neil and someone else has sent through research, which is very old. And again, once you read through it, it matches up with what Wilson and Blackett say, even though it was written long before they came along. I just want to drop this into conversation because I'm going to mention it next week. Great book. Do you want to prepare for next week? Chris Rudd. British coins, right? Not Celtic coins, not Roman coins found in Britain. British coins. Fabulous little book. It's not very expensive. Loads of pictures of coins. Thank you again to Mariah for this. Loads and loads of coins. Old British coins. Excellent. I haven't studied it yet, but really, really, really going to and do some more on that next week. Right, okay, let's crack on with this. So there's this beautiful photograph that Tim took a few weeks ago, first time we went up there. As you can see, it's a very atmospheric building. And while I was up there the last time, I talked about the idea of two possible stories connected to this. The one story is about after Constantine, with Myrig, the father of Arthur. They had a problem. The king of, which way is the angle for you? The king of Devon and Cornwall, or particularly Cornwall, was called Gunnar, Guinner. You can read all about this in Arthur the War King. Can you see if you can grab a copy of the War King now? Up on the top, there should be one.
Yeah, there's a few.
Ah, just grab me one. I can show the map then. And he was doing a bit of double dealing with an Irish king called Fingar, and he was going to help him because to raid from Ireland, you'd have to go round Cornwall, where he would help him on the way out. Thank you. The idea then was that he would go to... Can you find the map showing the attack on Cornwall, please?
Oh, yeah.
They would then... they'd go and attack Brittany, raid it, do all the stealing, and on the way back, he would be able to stop in Cornwall, where Gunnar would let him refit his ships and all that kind of thing, so he could return to Ireland. But as you'll see in a minute, I'll show the family trees and things. At this stage, the British had already captured part of Ireland. They had set up their own kingdom in Ireland and were dealing on a diplomatic level with the Irish kings, of which there seemed to be two major rival powers. And there's one concentration just on Cornwall. I think it's a bit earlier in the book, right at the beginning, I think, chapter 2 or 3. And but through intelligence, like in spying and stuff, the British got wind of this raid and let it go ahead. So that when Fingar turned up in Brittany, the defending army's waiting. He gets slaughtered on the beaches. Some escape. By the time they come back to Cornwall, Myrig has come down with Constantine, a few others. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, the book was a little bit wet to the top, so that...
Oh, it's a damaged book anyway. All right, okay, thank you.
The marks intact.
Yes, and battered him. So I'm just going to try and... most of the stuff is in the system. I'll just go back to me for a second. So you can see what we're talking about. Yeah, it's come out really well. So we got Fingar's journey all around to Brittany, and then on the way back. But by this time, this territory of Cornwall has been captured by the British, who come down, and they've done it in a very subtle way. They sent a fleet all the way around here and landed and come in this way. So what they've done, they completely trapped Gunnar, and at the end of the campaign, he's been killed. His wife has gone to hide in Tintagel, which is not a castle, it's just a little sort of fortified house or religious place. And she's come out, and they've agreed to take her back to Britain, and she'll be fine. But the condition is, of course, they've got a problem, because Constantine has come in, and he's rather brutally in the book, isn't it, Arnie?
Yeah, chops him in half with an axe.
Chops him in half with an axe. I think he chops him that way, wasn't it? Doesn't it say come through his neck, down
No,
through his
other way
chest?
up.
Oh, the other way up?
Yeah, he goes. He's riding on his horse and he goes.
Wow. You should have Arnie on camera to see that then. He's riding on his horse and he's chopped upwards. It's Alan Wilson writing, or Wilson and Blackett writing, this gruesome best. Walking's great fun. I've got to put more recordings up, because we're reading through it at night, aren't we? So anyway, but the problem is, in British law, the rights could transfer through the female, through the wife, the female. And because she had the lands through her family line, anyone who married her could have children who would have a claim on Cornwall, which would be a real problem. It could cause civil wars, who knows what. So Myrig has tried to convince him, so they put her up in a monastery. This is where we come back to, this might be the one, it might be the one, but it seems a candidate around here. So just live out her life, boring existence, living out her life. And then she bumps into a chap called Clodogh. Clodogh. And Clodogh and her start to get on really well, and they want to get married. They're not being discreet about it, they just want to get married, okay? So, Myrig has to explain that this can't happen, because it's just too dangerous to the country. They can't afford to have this contest. So what they do, what is it, the mound there? So he offers him some territory in Brittany to get him well away from her and out of trouble. But whether he's stubborn or he just fancies his chances or he really is making a run for the kingdom, who knows? Myrig decides he has to have him killed. He does it himself, and this is supposedly when he got injured and became lame, and Arthur has to get promoted to lead the armies, okay? So it's an important story, and this could be a location. Now, the other idea I flagged up on whatever day it was I put the video up, was the other fascinating story, which is to do with, and I did it all from memory, and I'm quite pleased to say that I seem to have got most of it right, and no big errors. And Rob Pierce has sent me through some information, and then we'll come on to what Neil sent through, which brings it right up to date, alright? So when you look at, talk about the family tree here. Oh, here we go. This is the comment that Rob first put up on the YouTube video. If you just go back through a few videos, you can't miss it. It's in visits to the sites. So, it says his name at the top. My face is cutting off his name. Sorry about that, Rob. Anyway, great vid, Ross and Tim. The interesting thing, as you say, is the connection to one of the two Mudrouds or Mordreds. I don't want to confuse people, actually. Before I confuse you, the story is that Arthur, probably his second wife, Guinevere, was staying... it's a bit like Henry VIII, all right? Very, very, very similar, sometimes remarkably similar. The story of Arthur and the story of Henry VIII. Arthur seems to have had a pretty happy first marriage. He went on for a long time, but they had no heirs, and particularly no male heirs, but no heirs at all. So he's under a lot of pressure to produce heirs. So he seems to have remarried the second time, a bit like old King Henry VIII, divorcing his first wife, who he seemed to be quite happy with, apart from this one problem. And he went off with Anne Boleyn, and King Arthur married someone else, the second Guinevere. If anyone's got any theories on why they're all called Guinevere, I'd like to know, because Gwen obviously means beautiful. I'm not quite sure what Guinevere means. But it seems strange you should have three wives all with the same name. So I've got a funny thing, it's a title rather than a name. Anyway, that's a side issue. The second wife was staying, and this does seem more like to be this location, even if not this particular building, although we'll see, there's some clues on that. She was living out her days there while he's off being a king and fighting wars and that kind of thing. And she starts seeing a chap called Medraud or Mudrad or Mordred. These names have lots of spellings in the old days. These days, spelling seems to be really important. In those days, not so, okay? So you got Mordred, or Mordred as he's most famously known today. Start seeing her, but this is not the Mordred from the Battle of Camlan. This is not the one who raised the army to fight against Arthur. And again, it gets really fascinatingly similar. You know, I get to the stage you stop believing in coincidences, because this guy's called Mordred and he's a nephew, and the other one who raised the armies, fought the Civil War and was killed at Camlan is also a nephew, but by very different fathers, as we'll see. All right. So the story was Arthur found out about this, or they decided to elope and make a run for it. Either way, Arthur, not very understanding about it, pursues him all the way to Scotland, a place called Meggle, and sets the dogs on him and has them ripped apart by his hunting dogs. So there's a little memorial up there for them. But it's all started in this area here, because Miskin is the Royal Hunting Lodge, okay? And there's different definitions of what the word comes from. Anyway, so Rob saw this, and if you move to the second paragraph, you'll see here the one who fought Arthur was Medrawd ap Llew. Llew is very important. We'll come on to it. Don't let all these Welsh names put you off. Go on.
Does Llew mean lion? So he's the son of a lion?
Llew does mean lion, you're right. We also got the name Llewellyn, and this one seems to be called just Llew, rather than Llewellyn, which is more common. But we'll see who Llew is. Is it my
So there was literally a dude called Lion.
a dude called Lion, yes. You're quite right. And you got Lleon, which is also Lion, isn't it? So you got Caerleon as it's called today. Another dude called Lion, yeah. You got a brother called Lion as well, haven't you? Not sure that counts, he says. He might be listening. Hope he's listening. Anyway, while the other was Mordred ap Cawdrav, and this is St. Cawdrav's area. You've hit on more than you realise here, Rob. So the link is pretty good, logical proof given the ancient genealogies. And Guinevere, as we say today, Guinevere was local to the area. An affair was highly probable. Yeah, you'll see who she was, anyway. Then you have the treacherous nephew, Mordred who fought at Camlan. So even if today, if you type in the word Medrawd into Google Translate, you get treacherous. So amazing little snippets of truth echoing down the centuries in most of this research indicate that the hidden history of the island can be found with dedication, positive attitudes to ancient Britain, instead of simply accepting what you're taught in school, isn't it? It's all about looking at the old texts. And I would also add to that, as Rob would, because he comes on many trips with me, look at the old sites and buildings and see what you can see, all right? How can everything be unreliable? Yes. When you piece it together logically, it all fits. Great work, lads. Keep it up. Yes, and we'll go on another one together soon, Rob. So don't be daunted. You can order these from the website as well. There's the whole family tree. I'm going to zoom in. Wow, it still looks quite a lot to take in. I hope you can see it. If you're watching on a little phone, it's going to be a bit difficult. Hopefully you got a nice big screen. Right in the middle, and you can see my arrow moving around. There's Arthur in the middle. Arthur. Called Arthur 2 here. Arthur 2nd. So you have to come all the way up here. Just off the map now is Arthur 1, okay? But where it's in the 6th century. So I've drawn this family tree so the direct line is nice straight down the middle, which I know Alan Wilson loved that, because he'd drawn the other one by hand, him and Barham. I had the advantage of using things like Photoshop and seeing how they've done it already. He said, "Oh, this is great, you got all the names in a straight line down the middle." I was like, yeah, it only took about 2 weeks. So there you go. So if you wouldn't mind chipping in when you buy these, it was a lot of work. Right, so there's the main line, okay? So we've got Tudrig, who's the grandfather of Arthur. Meirig, who married Onbraust, that's his parents. We get Arthur, okay? And then his various offspring, which is another puzzle in itself, okay? Now what we have here, if you come across, I hope you can see my little arrow. If you go all the way over to the left, you've got another branch here, which is Cradog Vreichvras. It's a great name, isn't it? Vreichvras. Brawny arm, that means. So I'd rename you Vreichvras. How do you really call Brawny arm?
Mr. Lion, Mr. Brawny.
Well, That's funny you just say that, isn't it? Because, Brawny Arms is the grandfather of one, and Lion is they're quite macho names, isn't they? Anyway, in this one, it's spelled Cordav, all right? Who's the son of Caradoc, and his son is Medriad here, or Mordred. And I think this year, with the greatest respect to the almighty Wilson of Blackett, the book I took this from was the Arthur, King of Glamorgan and Gwent, one of the first books they ever did. And they've done a lot more research since then, such as Artorius Rex. Sorry, I put my stickers on because I scribble all over the book. Some of the books I write more than them, I think. And I don't want someone to buy a book and get sent my scruffy copy. And I don't want to grab a different copy every time I make notes and ruin loads of books. So that's why you see these horrible, ugly stickers on a lot of my books, okay? Right, so we got there. This Mordred, right, is not the rebel. He is not the rebel. That's a mistake. And I'm going to need to change this. And I'm going to have to somehow try and squeeze more in, because what you have coming back up through... where's Arthur? There he is. Up through the other side of this family tree, you're going to find that there's Flew, the lion, which Arnie enjoys. Oh, okay. What's that one?
Oh.
Hey Ross, I found out that JFK Kennedy's late. Oh, right, okay. Right, not today, Monica. Not my JFK today. We're sticking to 6th century, all right? If you could, please. Right, so what we're doing is... throw me a bit now. It's actually thrown in JFK. Right, yeah. So what we have here is Flew and his son, who's also called... He had 2 sons. This is very important. Mewdrad and Gwalchmai. Arnie's laughing there. Now, if you look at this, the situation we seem to have had is that Arthur's first son was Naui, or Noah, would be a translation of Noah. And he was also known as the Glittering One, the Shining One. He was wonderful. And he seems to have been killed while fighting the Vandals, who were invading Britain, which might come as a bit of a shock to some people, but they're the ones who became the Mercians. So when he died, we had a problem, because he no longer had any heirs, and already he was getting on a bit, in his 60s perhaps. And it was seen to me that he, you see Naui, hang on a second, there's Naui there. Let's come back to me so I can see what's going on, because I want to show you what's in this book as well. So what would have happened then, Wilson Blackett, as they say in this book, Artorius Rex, is that, all these books are available for Britain's Hidden History website, as you were saying, okay? Someone was asking on there. He's nominated one of his 2 nephews to be his heir. He doesn't. It's not the English thing. It has to be the son. Quite often, it's chosen by election, or it's usually a direct descendant. It doesn't have to be. It could be a cousin, uncle, someone related. And what's happened in this situation? He's proclaimed that he wants Gwalchmai, and it would seem to me that brother Mordred, obviously not very happy about this. His brother's going to be king, not him. And then we have the Exodus, the comet, all that kind of stuff. So when he comes back, Mordred has gone off and recruited foreign mercenaries so he can actually fight this, seize the throne. And in some ways, he seems to be the one who stayed in or came back to Britain first, or even stayed in Britain and kept running the shop, if you like, while Arthur was over in Brittany, getting away from the pestilence and the terrible times. So you could have some sympathy for him, perhaps. But there we are. Right, so in this book here... That was very fast. Sorry, that must have been quite horrible to watch that. Little blur on the screen. Got to improve my technique. So in this book here, we have 549 to 550 AD. King Arthur takes a second wife to get sons and heirs. At some time or other, his brother Idnerth is murdered in a plot recorded. So we get through his brothers now. Their family's been whittled away, all right? Is murdered in a plot recorded in the Llancarvan chapters on the life of St. Cadoc. His second queen, Gwyneuva, daughter of Ogyrfran Gawr, who's Cawdref. That's strange. Oh no, sorry. I was thinking that doesn't sound right. This Guinevere's father, was Orgyvan Gwawr, yes, who began a scandalous affair with Medrawd ap Cawdraf ap Caradog Vaichrach, the brawny arm, fled to Persia in Scotland, where King Arthur caught her and allowed his dogs to tear her to pieces. So, got that bit right. I haven't read this book for quite a few years. Then 562 to 563 AD. What you then have, so I'll just give a little potted history what happens then. So what's happened in the north, and by this north I mean right at the very north, up in Strathclyde, Scotland, that kind of area, things have gone very badly for them, and a lot of the British kings have been kicked out of the north. So many princes, and one, March ap Marchion, a very senior prince known as King Mark or Count Camor, od Conomorus, who you will see on some coins. Always they say it's the Roman Empire, but it's actually Conomorus, or Conomorus. He becomes greatly troublesome, finally attempting to dominate all of Brittany. At this time, King Arthur is establishing Llyw, Arawn, and Urien, the sons of Cynfach Oer, the brother of March ap Brian, as northern kings. So we're still trying to maintain a British kingdom up in the north, okay? But then 555, 566 is the pestilence, the plague, the comet, all these kind of things. Everything's going all over the place. The great areas become uninhabitable. People migrate to Brittany. And at this time, the heirs to King Arthur are his nephews, Gwalchmai and Mordred, the sons of Llyw ap, in this case means son of, Cynfach, and Gwyar, the sister of Arthur. So they're all interrelated. There's a lot with these royal families. And you can see, I'll just throw this as a side one in. You can see this is Brychan, who's famous. Although there are actually about 5 Brychans. He didn't have all those necessarily himself. And this is the British line which had gone over to Ireland and carved out this country. So again, it ties in what we were talking about earlier. And at what they call a Roman fort they've discovered in Ireland. Could well be British from this period. So you got the Irish line of the British coming back in, taking Brecon, and marrying back into this family, which gives Arthur claims. What you see on the family trees, everything's coming in towards Arthur. That's why he's so important. You got the family of Coyle. He's trying to marry them into his branch. So the 2 main branches of Britain all in one. So it's Gwalchmai's been declared, and that's when it all kicks off, because Mordred has got all his rebels together. They fight the terrible battles. He fights him in Camlan, and that's where King Arthur he goes up there and devastates his kingdoms and all that kind of stuff. Right, so 562 to 563, King Arthur perhaps dominates the north from the Isle of Arran. See, Arran, I think it's Margaret was asking about Arran months ago. So if you look at a map of Scotland, you will see that Arran's a big island on the west coast, and is ideal. It's always been a sort of a headquarters or a king's seat for the islands and highlands around there, because you can base your fleet and you can hit all the west coast of Scotland and the islands, and it's a sustainable place. Britain is now terribly weak following the triple tragedy of the Vandal Wars, the Comet Plague, and the Civil Wars caused by Mordred, and the central control of the British kings is slipping. At this time, King Meurig still lives as senior king, and at some unspecified date, see, I'm never sure if Arthur even became king, but that's another story. He's definitely king of Gwent, and the high commander of all the armies, but Meurig seems to have outlived him. That's a side issue. Conveddu attempts to obtain control in South Wales, probably with Meurig old and Arthur wounded. So we go on, and it's all this is recorded in the Land of Charters. Now, where's the bit I want to read? So if you get this book, you can read all about Mordred the traitor. But we were right, so well done, Tim, and a little bit less well done, me. So geographically, we know that Caradog Vraicfras was generally thought to have held authority in South Wales and on occasion in Brittany. His son Cawdraf, and remember the site we're going to has a similar name, had his monastery at the woods at Miskin, where it still stands in remarkable preservation. This book, when was this book written? I should know this. I think it's about 1990, I think. Oh man, how could I not know that? I think it's about 1990 anyway. Okay, it's not really crucial, but I just want to get an idea how much it's decayed since then. I was hoping there'd be a picture in here, but I can't find one yet. So if you've got any old pictures of this Miskin one, I'd like to see if it's being trashed for reasons you'll see in a minute. Okay. Right. So his son Cowdrav had his monastery at the woods of Miskin, where it still stands in remarkable preservation. And remarkably, even more, it's denied that it's St. Cowdrav's monastery, even though it's recorded that it is, and it's still there. To me, it looked like a monastery when I saw it anyway. This monastery was a mere 1.5 miles from Llanillten, and there young Mordred ap Cowdrav would have lived with his parents, Welsh saints and clergy, being habitually married. This is important for tradition strongly asserts that King Arthur, the Ail Tairn or Viceroy, lived at Llanillten with his second wife Gwenhwyvar. King Arthur was around 45 to 50 years old, and his sons from his first marriage were all killed in the Vandal War of 548. So sorry, he did have a child. Now he was from his first marriage, but he'd been killed, alright? So he's come on from having his glorious 20-year-old heir to no heirs. Whilst he's away on business, the young queen formed a liaison with Mordred, and they met frequently at a grove still identified as the Thicket or Grove of Medrawd, or Melwas. Cloyne Melwas is a form just north of Llanillten. All these names are still there, isn't it fantastic? Like Rob Pierce was saying on his. Yep, so they got chased all the way to Perthshire in Scotland. They got ripped to pieces. This happened at Alyth, is the place. Alyth. Oh, I did get it right. And the Queen's remains are buried in the next parish of Meigle. Oh, almost right. Meigle, where her mound tomb and remarkable tombstone is still preserved today. The amazing thing is that the identical folk tale was remembered down the ages both at Llanillten and at Meigle, two places 500 miles apart. And Alyth means great lamentation. And the great proximity of the monastic residence of St. Cowdrav to Llanillten identifies Mordred ap Cowdrav as the seducer of King Arthur's young queen. This solves one half of who the traitor Mordred was. Alright, hang on, 9 o'clock. Anyway, let's push on to this one. So, I might do a separate video on that, because there's a lot more you can say just on him, really. Oh, there's the book. So someone asked me to get the book from. There you go, Britain's Hidden History. Oh, it would be funny if you could actually see it. Britain'sHiddenHistory.co.uk. Please don't keep going on about JFK, Aunt Monica. Chats for people wanting to follow this. Right, okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because it's referred to here, you see, as St. Cowdrav's Monastery. And what my cousin Neil Broadstock, has found, this book is, oh, he did tell me, about 1800, I think. And what we have to rely on, with so many of the historical books haven't been destroyed deliberately, is he's had a clever idea of looking at these old walking books, where you got people who travelled around Wales describing the places they saw as they went around, okay? So, we have things on here which reveals quite a lot from this old book. So here we go. I'm just going to a couple of pages from this. So Cowdrav, it's all backed up. All the things Wilson and Blackett. Here's a book, totally unconnected from, might even be 1780s, but it's around about that period, okay? And here it is again. Cowdrav was the son of that your favourite name now, Arnie, your new favourite name. Cradog Freicfras, Brawny Arm. The Kratos Brebras of Romance, by the beautiful Tigo Orifran, daughter of Nudd Hael. So all these different names and everything there. And then we're told of the core of Cowdrav in Glamorgan, for the 300 saints. And this became interesting for me, because the cores, if you're not aware, the old worship places, like those circles, like the one, if you look at the video, you see the world's oldest Christian church or something it's called, one of the videos I did, where you can see a large one, probably the core they're referring to. It's a circle bank, and you all go inside to pray or worship, and it's outdoors because you want God to see you. And the idea of a core is where the word choir comes from. It also refers to this system where you'd have monks operating in shifts, so that 24 hours a day they'd be praying, 365 days a year, and there was 3 of these great cores doing their constant vigil, and when rich people died they would leave money to keep it going, that kind of thing. What's interesting here, the core of CADW in Glamorgan was for 300 saints. Remember that number, 300? And that Einion ap Collwyn founded Clan Trisant after Clan Gadwrth was burnt, alright? What is that book? Sorry, I'll go up. That is the name of the book, alright, Patricia? There it is. Nicholson's Cambrian Traveller's Guide, alright? That's it. I'll try and find more and put it in the description and how to buy it. I'm hoping Guian might do it or something. Now what strikes me is I live very near here, and Clan Trisant is always the Church of Three Saints. Hey, maybe it's the Church of 300 Saints. 300 Tree Sant is similar to Tree Sant, if you know what I mean. 300s is almost the same as Three Saints, if you say it in Welsh. Anyway, what's interesting to me here, the ruins of this religious house are to be seen about 1.5 miles south of Clan Trisant, on a pretty situation above Miskin Manor. It is also called, not quite sure what that means to it, I think it's a double L, Gethley Gawdrav, his grove, okay? So there you got it, in a book about 1800 saying, it is known as Gawdrav, which does fit in with the story, the one which, Wilson and Blackett get a lot of stick for, about this being the place of Gawdrev and it being Gawdrev's son who caused the trouble with Guinevere. So he's now generally, has been for some time, accounted a patron of Aberech in Carnarvonshire, which is up north, if you don't know. Wales a lot more, moved around a lot more in those days. In the other saintly genealogies, however, is never associated with either, nor even included as a saint. There is a Ffynnon Gawdrav at Aberech. So what he's trying to say here, if you read it all, there's no real saints this can refer to, this apart from Gawdrav. And if you want to come back to this and pause it or something and read it in more details, you can. Oh, hang on, that's the same page twice, sorry about that. Right, on the eve of St. Cowdra's festival, all the children brought into the church a number of candles, which they'd been making themselves or brought. One candle for each member of the family in whom they were particularly interested. They knelt down to these ceremonies. This is a really important place. And one of the things which Neil has found and pointed out here, the triads state that Gawdrav was one of the 3 chief or prime ministers of the whole island of Britain. They were so called on account of their great influence. Whenever they went to battle, the whole population of the country, to a man, followed them of their own accord. In the tale of the dream of Rhonampwy, he is remembered among the counsellors of King Arthur. It's all tied together. They're from the same era. They live near each other. They know each other. There's an old poem, look. Hast thou heard the saying of Gawdrav, son of Caradog Vraifras the chieftain? Let the work of the cautious hand prosper. And that's from the Llwywydd, oh my goodness, Gorchoil o Araf. Right, so, and there's a poem written in the 15th century about it. And again, it's another great example of hidden history, more than I dreamed of here. And it goes on, it gets worse, right? Well, that's getting pretty good so far. Oh, I see, the way Neil's photographed it with his phone is a slight overlap, okay? That's why it's not really the same page twice. So you go down to the bottom now. There were 2 kings or princes of this district called Morgan. And then we move down into later times, because Morgan is the follower then of... where we get into Arthur's successors and things. And you see Skene, the 4 ancient books. And I've got a copy of Skene over there, actually. Well, he wrote lots of books. Now, this is where it gets a bit stinky, alright? Just to warn you. So here's it shown on a map. And there's the other name for it. Allt y Gwarthi. And speaking to my friend Mariah, it says Allt in Scottish can mean stream. So maybe it's the stream of the Gwarthi, I don't know. I'm not sure what the Welsh word for that is. What's rather sad, you might not see this on your screen. It's very faint. Standing stone, not in situ. So there was a big standing stone here which is taken. And I also, so this is the dual carriageway. That's that beautiful view I showed you down the valley. So I'm pretty sure it's not there now. There's a stream. There's the red dot with the building is, alright? Yeah, now, as you can see, this dual carriageway is extremely close to the standing stone, which might have been almost touching it. And so is that building. So at the time when this was put in 1987, there were some planning committee meetings. And here are the minutes. Well, I don't know how my cousin got these. Well done. So minutes of the meeting of the Pontyclean Community Council held at the Pontyclean Community Centre, Pontyclean, 7 p.m, 2nd of March 1987. Okay? There's the people who were there. And if we go down to the footpath, application to divert. Members were of the view that there was no objection to the proposed diversion, although concern was expressed. Blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. This is where it gets interesting, alright? There's going to be a housing development at Llwyncroen, where there's stacks of houses built over there, okay? God, thinking heck, bathe in 1987. Wow. Right, now, can you see point I? Forget that housing development, which is all went ahead and there's houses everywhere. Point I. I'm trying to... Oh, no, you can't... Oh, yes, you can just about see. Anyway, you can see point I. It's the middle of the screen. St. Cowdrav's Monastery, Miskin, which is not supposed to be even called that these days, alright? The clerk read out a letter which he had received from CADW. They're the ones preserving Welsh history, yeah? Protect and preserve. The official body in Wales charged with the preservation of ancient monuments. The letter, this is from CADW, right? This isn't from the road builders or anything like that. The letter cast doubt on the authenticity of St. Cowdrav's Monastery. Several members expressed their surprise at the views put forward by CADW and felt that more local research might reveal the true origins of the monastery. CADW were basically saying, don't bother, nothing to see, do what you like, knock it down. So, it continued then. The point of the letter, the follow-up was, as you can see from that last part there, that CADW themselves no real interest in this monastery or the building or the history, which seems a little bit strange, doesn't it? A little bit strange. So basically you're going to forward there, copy the CADW's letter, and no further action, no interest. And wrong button. And as you see from the video I made with Tim, there's our sign there, nothing. No mention of the history, the story. We tried the local historical people, and I'd love to receive more information. Send it through if you got it. Because I think there was a little bit more in the minutes as well about, it sums it up there already. You've got the hang of it. That they got no interest and no need to know, nothing to see. And thank God that dual carriageway missed the monastery. You do get the feeling it might have led to the moving of the stone. But there you go. So it's a quick recap just to finish then with, I think we covered it all there. So there's two Mordreds. This is the important thing. One would seem, I don't know, but you might have visited, but unlikely to be the one directly connected with what seems to be the monastery on the old religious site of St. Cowdrav, one of the three great prime ministers of Britain, the great advisor, the cautious one, the wise one, who advised Arthur, and it's his son who's done a runner with Guinevere, and end up in Scotland, as you saw. And then we got the other one, the other Mawdrav, which is confusion, because two Mordreds, who was the son of Llew, who would seem to have felt overlooked due to his brother Gwalchmai. Of course, the tragedy to sum all this up, then, if you don't know the full story, is that when Arthur finally tracked down Gwalchmai was on his side. So it seems to me that another reason why Arthur might not have been king is he might have chosen to be skipped and go straight to Gwalchmai and have the younger king. And then you have the stories about Arthur going to Brittany and become a religious, a hermit really, until again he has to be called out into battle. What a great, it's an amazing story. But anyway, he's supporting Gwalchmai rather than the other way around, I would suggest. And then they finally end up in this battle of Camlan, And while there's some, well, I think there's less discussion now that maybe Arthur was killed at Camlan, or shortly after, that seems less and less likely. He was wounded, it's just the wording is strange. What was certain and very tragic, both brothers got killed, Gwalchmai and Mordred. So you're still left in a situation where you've gone, as often happens in civil wars and tragic situations like this, you've gone from a situation where two brothers are battling for the throne, and they both end up dead. And this was seen why Arthur has to take a third wife and try again for an heir. And then, we're jumping ahead a bit, but then when he finally does die, it needs to be kept quiet because his son is still too young and vulnerable, and he has to keep word quiet until he's old enough to take the throne and look after himself. And old Myrick still seems to be going. He lived to about 100 or something. So there you go. Anyway, so that's all worked out quite nicely. 9:15, there you go. I did say I'd try and finish early this time, so I ran on and on and on last week. Did I cover everything? I didn't do the chiroglyphics. I'm not going to do that now. Not start that now. But I just want to say to people, I was going to set it up so you could watch me drawing them and everything. I'll have it set up for next week, alright? I just want to make doubly sure to people that it really is very easy. Can I see some of the... Oh, it's in German now. Excellent. Yeah, exactly. Okay, alright. More like a Landstrasse. Okay, the road, yeah. It's what we call dual carriageway, yeah. 2 lanes each side. And if you are walking, first time we did it, we parked at the Castle Monach, which, by the way, Castle Monach means monks. And it could well have been some sort of religious place there as well, where the pub is now. Where I worked for one night only. I did one night I used to do bar work. And I went in and had a strange experience. And that, they say, is another story for another time. Right, okay. Yes, sorry about the motorway. Sorry, Monica. Yes, you got the M4 is the major motorway running east-west. Not really hugging the south coast, but more or less horizontal. So it's a bit, because, Cardiff and the Vale would be below it. As you get to places like Swansea and that, it's very close to the coast. It's almost a line across. It's the same ancient routes being used, as far as we can tell, well, forever, because that's the way through the hills. Then that's the only motorway being, well, supposed to be 3 lanes, it's only 2 lanes. And to be honest, Monica, I can see why you're confused, because I'm confused. The difference between the western stretches, the M4, and a dual carriage where it becomes the A48, there's no difference, apart from motorway regulations. It's a con. We're told we have a motorway, you don't really. And there's speed limits all over it and stuff. But anyway, I'm diverging. So if anyone wants to throw any questions in on the Mordred, I hope you enjoyed that. I've certainly enjoyed getting this book out again and revising the story. Working very much on the life of Arthur again at the moment. What I want to say, answering people's questions from Julie. Oh, I almost forgot. Thank you, Michael Tomberlin. He's doing a wonderful job designing some amazing T-shirts with a message of peace. The Heddwch from the Britain's Hidden History. He's done a great job. With a clever little twist he's done with it. I was going to show the artwork this week, but let's get it all sorted, and that'll be something else for your Christmas stockings. Anything else to mention? No, I think that's it. Remember, I'll start putting these on BitChute as well, but it will continue every Sunday on here, and there's more videos going up in the week. Architecture Power, available now, £5 off for all those who get their orders in. What else is going up? Oh, we still haven't put up the games available. I also want to show more of these books. Thank you, Mariah. I want to show more books from Guian to talk about. This is brilliant. Britons of Cambria by the Reverend Morgan. Try and get yourself a copy of Britain's first coins. We'll talk about that. Oh, there's so many hundreds of things going on. The hour just flies by. The week flies by. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. God, did you see that? Oh, there it is. Thanks for your help. So for all those who didn't see it last week, I've cloaked a very nice box, 18 centimetres square. Now the boards are being done. They're going to go inside. And this is for your Goith board. Thank you very much. Already got some orders in for this one. We're going to put a proper order up in the next couple of days. So you can order your copies of this. not just Goyd Boys, you can play all the old games of the Dark Ages. Let's just say pre-7th, 8th century. Fitchel, the Irish version. Goyd Boys, and then I can never get the Viking Tavel, whatever it's called. Get that name quite right. Alright, so thank you very much. I think I'll start. I better be careful before I don't really want to start another subject. Oh, hang on, before I blast everyone's ears. And Baron's album's available. Has anyone any questions you want to throw in tonight? Right, good, we've got some questions. Difficult thing about Cymroglyphics is deciding what it is a picture of, and then which dialect word to use for it. Yeah, I can see what you mean there, yeah. I'm going to try to make the dictionary a bit bigger. This is my battered copy where I scribble all over. In the back of this, you'll see every hieroglyph. Well, it's 300 odd, all the ones we've deciphered so far. Yeah, you can see that. So you see the column there, the pictures, what it is. So, for example, let's just do an easy one. You might see a cross. Well, cross in Welsh is croes, intended word croeso, to welcome. And if you imagine how difficult it would be to draw welcome, you know, maybe it looks like this. You get croeso that way. So yes, I will do more about that. Could here we go. Some questions coming through. Excellent. Could Cowdra be cow's enclosure? Cow being father of Gildas? I guess so. So Mark Manning, thank you. It seems to be referred to as cowdravs, as in. What are you doing there? I was making them. Oh, they've got a nosebleed. Oh, sorry. So sorry, he's just messing. Okay. He's just playing, alright. Okay, he's having fun. It's your Sunday evening. So I appreciate you helping, Arnie. Thank you very much. You did a very good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Arnie's taking a bow. Take a bow on. I gotta be careful. I shouldn't leave this book out, because this, I have to say, this is fantastic. And I have to just warn you, when they're gone, because I don't think we're going to reprint that one. I'm not sure we got the print files. I do have quite a lot of them from Wilson and Blackett, and I do pay for them all up front, so if people do want to buy them, that would be good. At the moment, they're all paid for by me. We don't have endless money, so... yeah, it's all about Gwalchmai and the Hawk of May and all that. It's fantastic. Yeah, but the Cymroglyphics... I'm not sure about the dialects. I mean, it's the old Welsh seems to work there. I appreciate that comment. I'm interested to talk more with you, Mark. Is it Mark? David, sorry. Which dialect word to use for it? I'm interested to know if you want to say some more about that. Anyway, North Star, everyone. I will do a bit on Cymroglyphics next week. And I set myself a deadline to get the transcript off to the publishers to get the book out in the next couple of weeks. Right. Well, one last random song to play out with while people say goodnight. North Star. Thank you. Very interesting. Thank you, Patricia. Diolch yn fawr pob. Which ones you have? Arnie? Oh, track one. No, that's different. Don't play this very often.
There's a reason for that.
This is supposed to be the start of the programme, yeah. Alright, change that. It's a bit of paradise. Yes, I like this one. Okay, so everyone, that's my playing out music. Oh, Benny Babble. Didn't see you, Benny. Tilda, North Star. Can you say North Star? Pobe on there, on? Like, he's done it there. Like Tudor. Tudor. I always say Pob. Is that a Welsh, North Wales, South Wales thing? Tudor probably knows better than me. Alright, hope everyone enjoyed that. Bratwurst, aha. Yes, yeah. Arnie, if you want to bribe him and get yourself on the programme or anything, Bratwurst. That's the sausages. Breakfast sausage, Bratwurst. There we go. Right, so thank you very much, everybody. I'll just say, until there's loads of videos going up this week and next week, don't forget, winter solstice is not far away, alright? It's going to be December 21st. Get yourself somewhere to watch the sun up. Find a conspicuous hill, valley, doesn't matter where you are in the world. Southern Hemisphere would be interesting, because then you'd be looking at sort of Midsummer's Day, wouldn't you, rather than your Midwinter's Day. And want to see more about that. And thank you again, Michael. We will be showing the t-shirts and all that kind of jazz next week. So, Arnie, you say North Star? Nostar and Heruch. Adios, amigos. What can he do, eh? What can he do? Children, eh? Can't live with them, can't beat them to a pulp until they learn some sense. Not anymore, anyway. It's not allowed. Alright, till next time. Heruch. 19. If you put
So, again, thank you very much for... Wait a second. So, thank you very much for watching, all of you, as said in the rerun of the video then. Yes, thank you. And just a quick reminder at the end now, the event details again. If you would like to attend, just go book at the link at the bottom of the screen. And, of course, if you are interested in this subject as a whole, this channel and company, then please check out cameronwilderfish.com, have a look at all the books, everything you need to know about any of the subjects, and I think, yes, that is all for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching, for commenting, keeping everything alive. I've seen some very nice comments in there, and Heather.